Dear brothers and sisters, today I want to talk to you about a gift that Allah has sent for every heart that has felt broken, abandoned, or lost. A surah from the Qur'an, a source of light and hope designed to heal the wounds that life has left in our hearts. Every one of us has faced moments of despair, moments when the world seems heavy, when our prayers seem unanswered, and when our hearts ache with the pain of disappointment. And it is in these moments that Allah reminds us that He is closer than our jugular vein, that He knows every tear, every sigh, and every silent plea. Imagine a heart that has been shattered by betrayal, by loss, or by unfulfilled dreams. The weight of sorrow can feel unbearable, yet Allah has given us His words to lift that weight, to soothe the ache, and to rekindle hope where it seems lost. This surah is not merely a chapter in a book, it is a balm for the soul, a whisper of mercy, and a reminder that no heartbreak is ever in vain. Take, for example, the story of a believer who, after losing everything he held dear, found solace in reciting this surah daily. Each verse became a thread mending his torn heart, a light guiding him through the darkness. Slowly he realized that Allah's timing is perfect. Every hardship carries within it the seed of future ease. The Quran tells us, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shar 94:6. When read with sincerity, this surah reminds us that our suffering is never ignored, and that Allah's plan is far greater than our immediate vision. Often we wait for miracles, for signs, for the moment when life changes. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sends these signs in the most subtle ways, through a verse that resonates in your heart, through the advice of a friend, through moments of reflection when you feel His presence most strongly. Each of these signs is a gentle reminder that He is orchestrating your journey, that your brokenness is a stage in your elevation, and that healing is always nearer than you think. Surrendering to Allah's plan is not always easy. Our hearts resist, our minds question, and our souls crave immediate relief. Yet the ultimate healing comes when we release the burden of control and trust Him completely. When we read this surah, meditate upon its meanings, and internalize its guidance, we begin to see our hardships differently. We begin to understand that every challenge is shaping us, every tear is nurturing patience, and every heartbreak is preparing the heart for deeper love and gratitude. And so, brothers and sisters, as you listen to these words, know that Allah's mercy is abundant. This surah is a divine tool to lift the veil of sorrow from your heart, to guide you toward hope, and to remind you that nothing in your life is wasted. Let it inspire you to hold on to faith, to be patient in trials, and to prepare yourself for the blessings that are already on their way. In your surrender, in your trust, and in your unwavering belief, Allah will place healing in your heart and joy in your soul, often in ways you could never have imagined. Every human being, at some point in their life, experiences the sharp sting of a broken heart. It may come in the form of loss, betrayal, unfulfilled dreams, or the quiet ache of disappointment that lingers long after the moment has passed. A broken heart is not merely an emotional experience, it is a profound reminder of our vulnerability, of the fragility that exists within every soul. Pain is universal. No one is immune, whether it is the young who are just beginning to navigate the complexities of life, the adults who shoulder responsibilities and face unexpected setbacks, or the elderly who reflect on the passage of time and the regrets that accompany it. In those moments, the heart feels heavy, the mind restless, and the soul weary. People often search for comfort in fleeting distractions, material possessions, temporary pleasures, or the company of others. But these remedies rarely soothe the depth of the heart's wounds. The healing required is not superficial, it must reach the very core of one's being, and this is where Allah's guidance becomes essential. Heartbreak manifests in many forms. It could be the pain of losing a loved one suddenly, leaving a void that seems impossible to fill. It could be a betrayal from someone trusted, where words and actions that were once sources of joy turn into reminders of hurt. It could be the disappointment of seeing aspirations crumble, despite sincere effort and unwavering dedication. Each of these experiences leaves an imprint, a subtle mark that shapes perception, trust, and emotional resilience. When these wounds accumulate, they can make a person feel isolated, as though they are walking alone through a world that has forgotten their pain. The heart may even begin to question the purpose of struggle, the fairness of life, or the mercy of Allah. In such moments, despair threatens to overshadow hope, and cynicism can creep into the soul like a shadow that refuses to leave. Yet it is important to recognize that heartbreak is also a sign of life itself. It is evidence of love, investment, and sincerity. It demonstrates that the heart is capable of feeling deeply, that one's emotions are genuine, and that the capacity to hope remains intact even amid suffering. Islam, through the wisdom of the Qur'an, acknowledges the reality of human pain and offers profound comfort. It does not dismiss grief or belittle sorrow, but recognizes them as part of the journey of life. The Quran speaks to the hearts of believers, offering solace and perspective that transcends the limitations of human understanding. Verses of the Quran remind us that difficulties are temporary, that they carry lessons, and that Allah is ever present, aware of every struggle. These reminders help reshape how one experiences pain. Instead of perceiving heartbreak as a mark of personal failure or divine neglect, it becomes a portal through which patience, gratitude, and resilience are cultivated. The awareness that Allah is intimately familiar with our innermost feelings can be profoundly comforting. It allows the believer to feel understood, to recognize that their pain is acknowledged by the one who has the ultimate wisdom to transform suffering into growth. Even in the quietest moments of loneliness, when the heart aches without visible cause, the acknowledgement of one's pain and the act of turning to Allah for relief is an act of courage. It is a recognition that the human heart, though fragile, is capable of seeking strength beyond itself. This is why the experience of a broken heart is not something to fear or avoid entirely. Rather, it is an opportunity to reconnect with the spiritual dimension of life, to rely on the mercy and guidance of Allah, and to understand that human suffering is intertwined with divine purpose in ways that may not be immediately apparent. The Quran is unlike any other book in human history. It is not merely a collection of words or moral teachings, but a divine guide that speaks directly to the heart and soul of every believer. Its words carry a power that transcends time and circumstance, offering clarity in confusion, comfort in sorrow, and guidance in moments of uncertainty. When the heart is broken, it is natural to seek solutions in the world around us, to search for explanations in logic, advice, or personal effort. Yet true healing begins when we turn to the words of Allah, which are living and transformative. The Quran has a unique ability to reach deep into the psyche of a believer, reminding them of their inherent dignity, the mercy of their Creator, and the eternal purpose behind temporary struggles. It is as though every verse was sent precisely for the moments when we feel weakest, when the weight of life threatens to overwhelm, and when the heart cries out for relief. This power of the Quran lies not only in its wisdom, but also in its capacity to mirror the human experience. Allah addresses the believer in ways that recognize human vulnerability, fear, and longing. Verses speak directly to those who are distressed, offering reassurance that no pain goes unnoticed. The Quran tells us, "Do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sins. Indeed, it is He who is the forgiving, the merciful." Surah Az-Zumar 39:53. In this single verse there is an ocean of hope for anyone whose heart has been weighed down by guilt, grief, or regret. It is a reminder that regardless of the depth of our despair, Allah's mercy is infinitely greater, and His guidance is always available to those who seek it sincerely. This acknowledgement of human struggle, combined with the promise of divine assistance, creates a profound sense of solace that nothing else can provide. The Quran also functions as a mirror for reflection. When recited with intention, it illuminates the internal landscape of the heart, helping the believer recognize both their weaknesses and strengths. It encourages self-examination, fostering spiritual growth that is impossible through worldly means alone. As a person reads, listens, or meditates upon its verses, they begin to see their trials not as meaningless suffering, but as opportunities for purification, patience, and closeness to Allah. The surah that is sent to heal broken hearts does more than comfort. It acts as a gentle guide, leading the believer toward an understanding of life that is rooted in trust, hope, and surrender. It helps transform the pain of loss into the potential for growth, the despair of uncertainty into the clarity of divine purpose, and the heaviness of sorrow into the lightness of reliance upon Allah. Moreover, the Quran reminds us that Allah's words are alive, that they have a power to penetrate the soul in ways ordinary speech cannot. When a believer turns to the Quran in moments of emotional distress, the verses can evoke a profound emotional and spiritual response, stirring hope where there was doubt and courage where there was fear. This is why the Quran is often called a source of healing, not only for the heart but for the mind and soul as well. Its words are a refuge, a safe space where the believer can bring their grief, their doubts, and their burden, and be met with divine understanding. Through repetition, reflection, and sincere connection with the meanings, the Quran helps to repair the delicate structure of a wounded heart, filling it with patience, clarity, and trust in Allah's perfect wisdom. In life, one of the most remarkable truths is that Allah sends guidance, mercy, and signs exactly when they are needed, even if we do not recognize them at first. Often we struggle with timing, wishing for relief to come sooner or for clarity to arrive immediately. Yet the wisdom of Allah surpasses human perception. Our hearts may feel heavy, and our minds clouded with uncertainty, but divine timing ensures that every sign, every lesson, and every act of mercy reaches us at precisely the right moment. This is evident in countless real-life experiences, where people find solace, answers and healing at moments when they least expected it. A single verse of the Qur'an, a conversation with a wise friend, or even a quiet moment of reflection can serve as a beacon of hope that redirects the course of a heart that was previously lost in despair. The awareness that Allah's signs are always present fosters patience and resilience, reminding the believer that no hardship is permanent, and that every difficulty carries within it the seed of relief. Consider the example of a person who has experienced betrayal or loss. For weeks, months, or even years, the weight of disappointment may seem unbearable. They may question their faith, struggle with resentment, or feel abandoned. Yet in the most unexpected moments, Allah sends reminders of His mercy and guidance. Perhaps it is through a verse in the Quran that suddenly resonates with their circumstances, or an encounter with someone who speaks words of encouragement and clarity. The timing of these signs is never coincidental. It is the manifestation of divine wisdom. When the heart is most fragile, Allah's guidance arrives not as a forceful command, but as a gentle illumination, opening a path toward healing and renewed hope. This pattern is reflected in the lives of prophets and righteous individuals throughout history, whose patience and trust in Allah's timing enabled them to endure trials that would have seemed impossible without divine support. Every sign from Allah carries multiple layers of meaning. Sometimes, what appears to be a small subtle message has a profound impact on the soul. A verse that is read casually may suddenly awaken a deep understanding of one's own situation. A seemingly ordinary event may reveal itself as a sign of Allah's attention and care, teaching patience, gratitude, or humility. Recognizing these signs requires mindfulness, reflection, and openness to the messages that Allah places in our path. When a believer is attuned to this divine rhythm, every hardship begins to take on a new dimension. Pain is no longer purely destructive, but instead becomes instructive, guiding the heart toward growth and deeper reliance on Allah. This awareness transforms ordinary experiences into moments of spiritual insight and connection. Real-life examples abound where the timing of Allah's signs changed the trajectory of a person's life. Someone who was lost in grief might find solace in a community of support, a moment of prayer, or a verse that speaks directly to their heart. Someone struggling with uncertainty about a major decision may suddenly encounter the clarity needed to act confidently and faithfully. These are not coincidences but manifestations of Allah's precise orchestration of events, aligning external circumstances with internal readiness. The believer learns that patience is not passive but active, a conscious choice to trust that every unfolding moment is purposeful. Understanding this concept also nurtures humility. We realize that our perception is limited, that we often cannot foresee the impact of certain events, and that what we perceive as delay or hardship is, in truth, part of a grander plan. Each heartache, each challenge, and each disappointment is positioned to prepare us for the next stage of life, often in ways we cannot immediately appreciate. This recognition encourages surrender, patience, and deep faith. As the believer learns to await Allah's timing with hope and trust rather than frustration and despair, surrendering to Allah's plan is one of the most challenging yet transformative acts a believer can undertake. The human heart naturally resists uncertainty, clings to control, and seeks immediate solutions to every difficulty. When life does not go according to our expectations, when dreams falter, and when pain seems unending, it is easy to feel overwhelmed or frustrated. Yet true spiritual growth occurs when we consciously choose to release our grip on the illusion of control and place our trust fully in the one who knows what is best for us. Surrender is not a sign of weakness or passivity, rather it is an act of courage and profound faith, acknowledging that Allah's wisdom surpasses all human understanding. It is a deliberate turning of the heart toward the Creator, coupled with the recognition that even in our most desperate moments, we are never truly alone. Trusting Allah's plan requires a deep understanding that everything in life occurs within His perfect knowledge and timing. There may be moments when it feels as though the universe is conspiring against us, when obstacles appear insurmountable, and our prayers seem unanswered. Yet these trials are often the instruments through which Allah shapes our character, strengthens our patience, and elevates our spiritual state. The Quran reassures us, And whosoever relies upon Allah, He will suffice him. Surah and Talaq 65:3. This verse encapsulates the essence of surrender, relying fully upon Allah, knowing that His provision, guidance, and mercy are sufficient to navigate every trial. Trust is cultivated gradually, often through repeated experiences in which the believer witnesses how difficulties, once endured with patience, lead to outcomes far better than imagined. Surrender also teaches the believer to accept that life may not always unfold in ways that align with personal desires or immediate expectations. A broken relationship, a lost opportunity, or an unexpected setback may initially feel devastating, but surrendering to Allah's plan allows the heart to perceive these events differently. They are not signs of rejection or failure, they are opportunities for reflection, growth, and deeper reliance on divine wisdom. The act of surrender brings peace to a heart that might otherwise be restless, anxious, or burdened by the weight of control. It allows a believer to move forward with clarity, courage, and resilience, understanding that life's challenges are part of a larger narrative authored by the most merciful. Real-life examples illustrate the transformative power of surrender. Consider a person who has tirelessly sought a particular goal, perhaps a job, a marriage, or a resolution to a personal conflict, only to find that their efforts do not yield the expected results. In such a situation, surrendering to Allah's wisdom may initially feel difficult, yet it opens the door to unexpected blessings, an opportunity that was better suited to their growth, a relationship that provides deeper fulfillment, or a lesson that strengthens their character and faith. The act of trusting Allah's plan does not negate effort, it harmonizes effort with reliance, ensuring that actions are performed sincerely, while outcomes are entrusted to the Creator. Surrendering also cultivates resilience and emotional maturity. When the heart is aligned with Allah's will, it becomes less dependent on external validation, less fearful of loss, and more capable of enduring trials with patience and hope. The believer begins to understand that even what appears as failure can contain hidden wisdom, that every delay has a purpose, and that every challenge carries within it the potential for transformation. Trust in Allah creates a mental and spiritual space in which the heart can heal, in which anxiety and despair are replaced with calm assurance, and in which one can anticipate future blessings with confidence. Preparing for divine blessings requires more than passive hope. It requires a conscious effort to align one's heart, intentions, and actions with the guidance and mercy of Allah. Life is full of opportunities and challenges, and often blessings come in forms that are unexpected or disguised as difficulties. To receive these blessings fully, the believer must cultivate a heart that is patient, humble, and ready to recognize the signs of Allah's mercy. This preparation begins with reflection, recognizing the moments of hardship as opportunities to grow spiritually and emotionally. Each trial, each sorrow, each moment of disappointment carries within it a hidden potential to refine character, strengthen faith, and awaken a deeper sense of gratitude. The believer who understands this principle does not despair when life becomes difficult, but instead looks inward, asking how these experiences can bring them closer to Allah, and prepare them for the gifts that are already on the horizon. Spiritual preparation involves cultivating patience, for patience is the soil in which divine blessings take root. Without patience, even the most profound mercy may go unnoticed or unappreciated. The Qur'an repeatedly emphasizes the virtue of patience, encouraging believers to persevere in the face of adversity while trusting that Allah's timing is perfect. It is through patience that the heart becomes attuned to subtle signs and opportunities that might otherwise be overlooked. When a person exercises patience, they are not passively waiting but actively nurturing the conditions for Allah's blessings to manifest. Patience transforms the heart, allowing it to remain steady amidst trials, to maintain hope when circumstances seem bleak, and to remain open to the transformative power of divine guidance. Another essential aspect of preparing for blessings is gratitude. Gratitude sharpens perception, enabling the believer to recognize and appreciate even small manifestations of Allah's mercy. By acknowledging the blessings already present, the heart becomes receptive to greater gifts. Gratitude also protects the heart from despair and resentment, which can cloud judgment and hinder spiritual growth. A grateful heart recognizes that every provision, every opportunity, and every lesson is part of Allah's divine wisdom, and this recognition creates a fertile ground for future blessings. Acts of worship, remembrance, and sincere devotion further strengthen this receptivity, creating a continuous connection between the believer and the Creator. Preparation also involves reflection and self-awareness. The believer who prepares for Allah's blessings examines their intentions, purifies their actions, and seeks to align every decision with what is pleasing to Allah.
This self-examination ensures that the heart is free from negativity, grudges and distractions that can block the reception of divine mercy. By striving to embody patience, gratitude and sincerity, the believer becomes like a vessel ready to receive the bounty that Allah intends to bestow. Every prayer, every moment of reflection, every act of kindness or charity becomes part of this preparation, building a foundation upon which blessings can be established securely and enduringly. Life's blessings often arrive in unexpected forms, requiring the believer to remain alert and receptive. Sometimes the greatest blessings are hidden within challenges, guiding a person toward paths they would not have considered otherwise. A health challenge may lead to deeper spiritual insight, a loss may open doors to new relationships, and a period of solitude may become a time of profound self-discovery. By understanding that Allah's blessings are intertwined with His wisdom, the believer cultivates trust and readiness, knowing that divine favor can manifest at any moment. Through this preparation, the heart learns to embrace both hope and humility, understanding that while effort and patience are necessary, the ultimate outcomes belong to Allah alone. The believer who prepares in this manner is not merely waiting passively but actively engaging in the process of spiritual and emotional readiness, ensuring that when blessings arrive, they are welcomed with a heart that is open, sincere and fully attuned to the mercy of Allah.